having us. I'll do a brief introduction. So my name is Hasan Kazmi. I'm the Vice President and Head of Digital Partnerships for Visa in the CEMEA region. So CEMEA for us is all of Africa, the Gulf countries, Pakistan, and Eastern Europe. And in the digital partnership space, my team works with fintechs of all shapes and sizes, and also some of our large technology partners. So it's great to be here with two of our founders in the fintech space. So Armin Moradi, who's the CEO of Qashio, and Parthi Duraisamy, who's the CEO of Alaan. And what we'd like to talk about is SME space, and specifically the importance of SMEs. So as most of you know, small and medium businesses in most geographies, including this area, are roughly about 50% of the economy in many cases, and also employ a significant amount of people. Although there are some significant challenges they face, especially in regards to financial services. So what we'd love to understand from both of our founders is how have their respective companies, how are they helping SMEs with their day-to-day challenges, and also get a broader sense of beyond some of the challenges that SMEs have in the financial services sector, what else can the ecosystem do to help these businesses grow? So with that, maybe we'll start off with just a brief introduction of both of your respective firms, and then we'll dive into some Q&A.
Thank you for having us here at this seminar. So I'm Armin Moradi. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Qashio. Qashio is a spend management platform which started off by providing a platform for our clients, SMEs, mid-sized companies, and enterprises to be able to issue a corporate card at their own fingertips instead of dealing with the complexity of the banks. As we went through our journey, we're quite young, we're only 2.5 years old. We also built some adjacent solutions based on the customer feedback, such as lending options, credit options. We have a loyalty program where our corporate clients can get Skywards miles with Emirates for all of the spends to be able to drive the right behavior for the SMEs. We also recently launched a partnership for insurance for SMEs, where we are able to give the same premiums to small SMEs with less than 10, 15 employees, the same premiums as you would get if you are a 1,000 employee plus company, all to be able to enable the SMEs and simplify their journey in their growth ambitions. Thanks.
I'm Parthi Duraisamy. I'm CEO and co-founder of Alaan. Alaan is a corporate card and expense management solution for businesses of all sizes in the Middle East. We launched about 18 to 20 months ago. We support now more than 600 businesses across the UAE in digitizing their expense management.
So Armin, just starting off with you, we discussed the importance of small and medium businesses. So maybe from your vantage point of view, can you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in the market? And then specifically, why do you think that even though small businesses are so critical to the economy, they still have access in terms of access to financial services resources?
I think that's a very critical question that needs to be answered. And of course, the SME space is the backbone of the economy, and most companies started as SMEs, and there is a challenge for all of these companies to be able to grow. Now, I believe that tools are becoming more and more available in the market as talent find new, innovative, and affordable ways of supporting the SMEs. There is one challenge, and the previous speaker was talking about these microcycles, right? So in the early stages of your SME journey, you do struggle with limited capital availability. Sometimes that's also related in how you behave as an SME. Now, if you look at platforms like Qashio and Alaan, we provide SMEs the ability to organize their data in a way that somebody that might want to provide financing actually understands. It's transparent, it's non-fungible, and that increases the chance for these SMEs to access funding and capital, which is so important in the early stages. But one thing that I think is important for SMEs to also understand is if you're organized with how you present your financial health, it's much easier for other companies to support you throughout your journey.
And Parthi, can you tell us from your vantage point of view, same question, what do you think are some of the challenges, and more importantly, how is Alaan helping fintechs with those challenges?
Sure. So when you take SMEs, there are two big challenges that we see in this market. One is working capital, which is not a surprise. The second is access to the right tools, the right financial software, which is tailored to their needs. Let's take it one by one. Working capital. It's a problem for SMEs around the world. It's not new to this market. But in our market, it's more acute. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One is lack of access to cash, lack of access to loans, lack of access to working capital from traditional financial institutions. And the second is delay in payment from vendors. This is a notorious problem that we have seen in this market for many, many historical reasons. Now let's talk about the second issue that I was saying, access to tools, access to the right financial software. And let's take a look at it through one particular problem that we are solving, petty cash. When I say petty cash, you might be thinking, petty cash, few dirhams for repairs or buying office supplies. But let me tell you, petty cash is anything but petty in our market. It is billions of dirhams every single year that businesses need to handle. There was one business which had to put cash in tin boxes and send it to their construction sites every single day in a van. And this is in 2024. And in an economy which has such high aspirations for digitization, it's a bit embarrassing to see that, right? And that's what we are trying to change by helping businesses move away from petty cash and digitize their expenses.
So Armin, similar question to you. How do you see Qashio helping with SME financing specifically?
So to continue on what Parthi is saying, financing is a crucial need for all SMEs, whether it's your own money or whether it is an institution that provides working capital. And the way that Qashio does it is we allow our clients to come on board on our platform, and then we start seeing their spending behaviors over a period of time. So as an example, if you're a construction company and you use our platform, we issue corporate cards as well. So to do a lot of ATM withdrawals, then you're a very high risk for us to give a working capital loan. But if we see the same type of company, a construction company that invests their money in material purchases or in online marketing, we understand that they're going through a growth cycle. And as they're going through the growth cycle, we do understand that giving them a working capital loan, even though they might not have existed for a very long time, or maybe their finances are not as organized as more established companies, that they are a low risk. So what we do is we take that, we analyze that, unbox the credit risk together with some external partners, and then offer to provide these essential loans to help these companies grow.
And building on that, Parthi, you briefly mentioned that construction site story. So are there any other specific examples you can share about success stories of transforming from the cash economy into the digital economy, and also benefits that the clients have shared once they've made that transition?
Absolutely. So when we started off, we started serving SMEs. That was our focus. Now we serve more than 600 businesses in UAE. And some of them are not SMEs. These are extremely large companies. For example, Rivoli, Arada, Ijada, which has more than 11,000 employees. All these companies also deal with the nightmare of petty cash day in and day out, which is wild to think about it. I'll give you one example, which is an interesting story. It's not a company, it's a bank called Punjab National Bank. It is one of the largest banks in the whole of Asia. It was started 128 years ago. Mahatma Gandhi banked with Punjab National Bank when he was going through the struggles to get freedom for India. And this bank has a small branch in DIFC with 20 or so employees. Every day, they need petty cash. Example, they need to give some cash to the boy in their pantry so he can go and buy some milk to make karakti for the management team. How did that happen? The compliance manager had to go to the ATM, withdraw cash from his personal card, and give it to his employees for their petty cash needs before Alaan. And 18 months ago, they onboarded with Alaan. Their expenses is completely digitized now. So I just want to share a story where petty cash is not just faced by small traditional companies, but also some of the world's largest banks.
Great, thank you, Parthi. Armin, similar question to you. Any success stories that you can share from the clients that you've worked with?
I think there are quite a lot of success stories, and I think it's different in different industries. We'll talk maybe about the legal industry, and who also has a lot of petty cash. So we build vertical solutions as well at Qashio, and one vertical solution is that we build something for consulting companies and law firms. Now, the way that these type of companies operate is that there's quite a lot of expenses, not only the petty cash expenses, but a lot of the time they pay government fees or legal settlements via credit cards to the courts. Now, if you look at a larger law firm, you might have a centralized finance department that needs to manage the finances, but each one of these lawyers then, whatever happens in a case, needs to be ring-fenced and Chinese walled, so no other lawyer or a paralegal or anybody else within the organization should be able to have visibility about who the clients are across the law firm. So what we built is a ring-fenced, let's call it the Chinese wall, project management tool, where a lawyer will be able to upload their list of clients and manage their expenses, where they will bill the client very transparently without anybody else in the organization having the ability to see where the money is going towards. And then from the back end, the audit firms that audit these law firms have access, also Chinese wall, which is then encrypted, to be able to make sure that the money was used in the right way. So now we have some of the largest law firms in the region utilizing this solution, which has been very helpful for them and actually speeds up the settlement, especially to the courts, with our solution.
Great, thank you. So as both of you were sharing examples, one of the things I realized is, given the amount of exposure both of you have to businesses, I know this conversation has, so for now, focused specifically on financial services needs, but I would love to understand, and Parthi, we will start off with you, is based on what you've seen, what else do you think small and medium businesses need in the region? It could be anything from regulatory support, we talked about access to financing, but broadly speaking, what else do you think is required from the entire ecosystem to help small businesses grow?
Absolutely. I think two things. One is talent, and second is training that talent. Because one of the realities of our market is that 90% of the population are expats. So, and UAE has done something amazing by helping companies get people, get access to talent from all around the world and make it easy to bring them. But the question is, there is still a lot that needs to be done. There are a lot of perceptions of the market, especially if you go to the West. I used to live in London, I used to live in the US before, and even when I travel now, some of the questions, again, they come from a place of ignorance, where, how can you go live in the Middle East where, for example, women are not treated well? And what I tell them is, like, maybe you're talking about 50 years ago or 60 years ago. Come to Dubai, the classic line that we say, come to Dubai, Habibi, check it out. See how things are different. So there's a bit of education that needs to be done even outside the country to get access to that continued talent to come in. The second is training that talent. Even for SMEs, you need to take the time to train that talent. And one of the great initiatives by the Ministry of Economy is the Entrepreneurial Nation, where they provide free trainings and tools, which Alaan also partnered with Entrepreneurial Nation, whereby we can give our tool completely for free to SMEs so they can help make the processes easier and more efficient. So to summarize, access to talent and training the talent.
Great, thank you. Armin?
To build on what Parthi is saying, and I 100% agree, access to talent have been a problem in this region for a long time, and it is improving, but it does take time. Other things that, exactly what Parthi was saying, what it leads into is a lack of knowledge, right? So creating ecosystems for SMEs, and an SME does not necessarily need to be a new young company. It can be a company that existed for 15, 16, 20 years. But to be able to provide knowledge within the different areas is something that I do believe the more successful company has as a responsibility toward their client base. A great example of that might be, if you're part of an accounting firm, you get their emails about this is how corporate tax works, or did you know that you need to do ESG reporting, or if you use a CRM tool, those CRM companies, even though it's marketing material, they help you educate in how you can reach more clients. So I do think that companies in this region that have managed to establish themselves and sit on a large knowledge base can help their clients to get educated within the space that we provide our services within. And if we build a strength around that knowledge, I think we can make it more simple for the SMEs. One thing that we have done, we have gone a little bit further. We have what we call a customer success team, which is not a customer service team, but really a success team with the consultants that work with the clients through educating them what is about to come when it comes to corporate tax without charging them, or how will you be able to manage the changes that are coming on the fees that you would need to pay your banks, because we obviously monitor our competitors, and how you can navigate that, just to give an added flavor of support and help to our clients.
Right, so you touched on a point which was around customer success, and that leads to the question of, as a new company, when you're going to the market, and this is a question for both of you, is how do you actually start developing that trust with the business? Because as I was thinking about the services you're offering, in essence, you have access to everything that the business is doing. And historically, especially in our region, a lot of times, and it's true of family-owned businesses, small businesses, there's a certain element of privacy that comes into it. So how do you, as an entrepreneur and then as a new company, especially going into an area that has a lot of information about the business, potentially about the people who are running it. So how do you develop that trust? So the company is even willing to have a conversation with you and then eventually partner with you, which is in the end is beneficial for them, but that element of trust is very critical. So anything you guys can share about that would be great to hear.
Sure. We had a lot of problem with that in the beginning, especially when you onboard with our platform. You will need to share your bank statements, your passport copies, a home address, and so on, all of these sensitive type of information. Now, from our side, previously, long time ago, I used to work with Oracle, and part of what I did was to build these type of softwares for the global banks. So we understood that we need to ring fence that information, need to guarantee that that data that is being collected is collected and hosted within the borders of UAE for the UAE clients, KSA for KSA, and in Europe, and so on, and to follow those regulations. But that does not always help. So partnering with our processor Nimcard, who then were a partner with MasterCard and with Visa, showing that these big organizations are giving us the social proofing to work with us. They have accepted our processes, and they understand what it is that we're doing, helped gain a certain level of trust. And then the last step that we took was, number one, human interaction, but also to be able to share a process map, just visualize for the client, this is how your data is going to be treated. So when you share this information with this email, it's actually not a human behind there. It goes into a system, and that system organizes everything. So only the right person gets access to the data that they should. So nobody have access to everything at once. For them to be able to visualize and see that gained a lot of trust with our clients.
That's great. Thank you. Parthi?
Yeah, wonderful. Trust is something which is very, very difficult to build in the financial world. And during different phases of our company, we launched 20 months ago, during different phases, we had to do different things to build trust. The first 50 companies that started using Alaan, it was me and my co-founder Karun who would go sit down with them to build that trust. That's how we closed those first 50 companies. Then even as a young company, we decided to get certain certifications which only big enterprise companies do, like ISO certification or working with PCI DSS compliant companies. And there is a big checkbox of things that you need to do to build that trust. That's the second thing we did. But now, the biggest trust factor is built by simply telling a new customer, hey, look at our long list of customers. Do you want to earn trust? Here's the phone number of the CFO of a large company that we work with. Talk to them. And that is the biggest way in which we gain their trust now, social proof. So different phases requires different factors to build that trust.
Great, thank you. So a last question to both of you is, any advice that you can give to aspiring entrepreneurs or maybe entrepreneurs who started off in the journey and are early? So any struggles, how to overcome the challenges, anything you'd like to share that you think would be helpful to entrepreneurs?
Don't do it. Qashio is my fourth entrepreneurial journey that is at least on the trajectory of success. I had a very big failure, 2 good successes. And one thing that never changes is the resilience you need to have yourself. And something that I really believe any aspiring entrepreneur need to understand is that motivation and all of this like external glory and everybody tapping on your shoulders when you do a fundraising round or whatever, it means nothing. The only thing that really, really counts is the discipline that you have. And I recently saw this very, very interesting quote that really got to me, and I feel that this is the most important thing to understand as an entrepreneur, is that discipline is the difference between what you want today and what you want the most. So have discipline.
Thank you.
So I think I have a slightly different trajectory to what Armin had. My resume includes going to the best academic institutions, working for companies like Barclays Investment Bank, McKinsey, and all throughout my life in that journey, I knew I will be an entrepreneur one day, but I never took that step. And it took me 36 years to do that step. So my only advice to many of you, if you're working for a big company with a big logo behind you, and you feel that urge to go start something, however small, do it. If your financial needs are met, of course. I don't want to take that lightly. Now I have a small kid, and when you have a small kid, you start thinking differently. I'm just glad I left 2 years ago before she was born to start on this journey. So if you are young and if you have the financial needs, just go do it. That's my only advice.
Great. Thank you both. Thank you. This has been a wonderful conversation. As we've mentioned before, small businesses are critical to this economy and really economies of the world. And what you guys are doing is actually really making a big difference. So it's an honor for Visa to be working with both of you, and we look forward to success for both of you and success for us. Thank you.
Thank you.